What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here, coming at you today with Q&A number 73. So this week's questions are brought to you by DarkMagician84 and Express Gaming. So the first two questions are from Express Gaming. 1. Do you think Dark Matter Dragon could come back off the list one day? I miss playing it and making the joke when it's summoned, what's the matter with you? Okay, to start off with, this kind of violates my rules for my Q&As that I don't like giving opinions about the ban list and banned cards, because I don't really like giving an answer on something I can't control. But to give you an answer, no, I do not think Dark Matter Dragon can come back. It's a monster that says sack 3 dragons with different names from your deck, and your opponent has to banish 3 monsters in their deck. In the state of the game that it's at now, Dragon Link still can very much do things. This is just another way for them to get easy setup, and we're now in the position that we've got 3 Dragon Rulers legal. There is currently absolutely no way we are getting Dark Matter back. And in regards to the joke that you want to make, the joke doesn't really work if you're the person summoning Dark Matter. It only really works if Dark Matter is being summoned against you. So there. But yeah, absolutely no way that thing is never coming back. Even the OCG still has this card banned, because that's how strong it is. It's never coming back. 2. I was wondering if we can play a 5D's Turbo Duel in real life, but not on Bicycle, with the field spell they used in the Arc. It's certainly something that could be done if a person was willing to print off their own copies of Speed World and some speed spells to work with it, or figuring out a system to replace the speed spell system. When I was in my 6th form years at college, my friends and I did some versions of Turbo Dueling. I don't remember how we did it exactly, but essentially everyone had their own copy of Speed World 2, and I think it is we assigned speed counters to classifications of spells. So essentially, like, I think it was a normal spell costed you like a couple of spell counters, like quick play spells because they were so easy to use, but like very minimal spell counters. Speed counters. Normal spells were a little bit more, and then we kind of adjusted it up and then we just kind of kept going up then we just adjusted the levels depending on the type. But I don't remember what our ratio was. That being said, with things like with like some of the video games like Over the Nexus and Stardust Accelerator, a lot of normal spells in the actual game do have a speed spell version of itself, so you could just copy the ones from there. But yeah, essentially it's something that could very easily be done. It's just a matter of figuring out a fair way of doing the speed counter system. So yeah, just something I think about. And the last 3 questions are from my good friend DarkMagician84. 1. Do you think we'll ever get an Odd Eyes Link monster? I think that's I think that could be a potential for it at some point, because as of like, what was it, last year they brought out Pendulum Graph Dragon, which is a ritual link monster, so despite the fact Konami doesn't seem to like pendulums, they are open to the idea of like giving them this additional support, giving them these new versions if they feel like it. I personally think if they were to bring out an Odd Eyes Link monster, it would probably be a Link. I think it would probably be a Link Pendulum. That being said, even with Pendulum Graph Dragon, they did bring out a regular ritual monster first before they did the ritual pendulum, so might do. Maybe they'll do a regular Link monster first, then a Link Pendulum. I think a Link Pendulum could be interesting, because I'd like to see if it's got, depending on its Link rating, I'd like to see if it's got up arrows and down arrows, so it's like, and because of how extra pendulums work, when they get destroyed, you can slap them in the pendulum zone. I'd like it to maybe have like a pendulum effect that states this card can apply its main monster zones this card points to from the Pendulum Zone are treated as linked zones. So it means that, so it's kind of like you don't need a link monster in the extra monster zone. You've now got the link pendulum in your scale that is also providing the same thing. So I think that could be quite interesting. Even if it's like, say, a link, if it was, say, like a link 4, you could have it as like 3 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and then it kind of just makes it like, yeah, you want to get that thing in your scale. Additionally, I had another concept of like how some extra deck pendulums have an inherent summon that lets them kind of cheat the system of how they would be summoned out, or like a way of taking advantage of a different mechanic of summoning them out. So one thing I was thinking of was if maybe they did it as like a link 6, if it was like a link 6 odd eyes link pendulum, that could say like have 3 link arrows pointing up and 3 pointing down, which means it would be good either in the extra monster zone or potentially in your pendulums in the pendulum zone. I thought it could have like some interesting requirement of a summon of like, probably like if it was a link 6, probably the conditions of like maybe two or 3 plus pendulum monsters, 2 or 3 plus pendulum monsters with a potential summon condition that states for this card's link summon you can if you have an odd eyes card in your pendulum scale, you can use that card as material, treating its pendulum scale as a link rating. So that could be really good because a lot of odd eyes monsters have a link rating have a pendulum scale of 4, which essentially takes out most of the requirements you'd need, which would make it a bit easier. So I don't expect us to get one anytime soon, but I definitely think it is something that could potentially happen. From the way I see it, since Odd Eyes kind of got support in this series, we'll probably have to wait. Is Dimension Force classified as the current series right now? Sorry, I'd have to just quickly check and see what series we're in right now. Searching. Don't know why I'm searching Legacy of Destruction. I should probably just search Phantom Nightmare, which is the current. Not that spelling. I'm so used to the nightmares. Down. So yeah. Technically, we are in a new series right now, but naturally they did pendulum support in the law. They did pendulum support within Age of Overlord, and based on previous sets, because like Odd Eyes Magician is kind of like one big archetype, and now they kind of seem to have added the Supreme Kings into there. So yeah, it's a potential option that I think they could do a link pendulum at some point, but by the looks of how the series is going so far, it's probably something we're not going to see until quite a bit further. It's probably not something we will see until quite a bit further down the line. But still, I think it could be I think Odd Eyes getting a link monster is possible within the future. 2. Did you see that Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game Chronicles animation video? If so, what did you think? I have heard of this video, and I saw like a brief scan of it when I was like scrolling through my YouTube, but I didn't actually like take a full look at the video, so I don't really have a full opinion of it, but maybe I'll check it out a bit later. And 3. And final question. Any thoughts on nouvelles? So I did do a small bit of search into nouvelles before doing this video. From what I remember, that's basically the ritual deck that doesn't ritual summon. Kind of feels like it's one of those archetypes where Konami made it and players are like, this isn't how you're supposed to do this. You know, kind of like how Mythical Beasts are a pendulum deck that don't pendulum summon. Zodiac being an Xyz deck that just Xyz off of one material instead of multiple. Still probably one of the worst ones they've done. Or another good example, Sarctic, which kind of synchro summons, which shows synchro monsters without like properly synchro, without like, you know, actually synchro summoning them. So yeah, why not? So yeah, why not finally just bring out a ritual deck that could just, you know, doesn't actually technically ritual summon. So from what I've read of it, based around Hungry Burger, which is kind of cool, one of those nice nostalgic old school monsters. So the deck, as I said, took a brief look at it, read through what some of the monsters did. I'm like, okay, so basically the small ones go. So basically, it's kind of like they just climb off of one another. Like the low levels go into like one partially, like a lower level one will summon out one of the larger ones, and that's basically just how it goes along. So pretty interesting. I'd probably have to see it in a proper game to judge. That being said, I think I recall like you were either building or you have built Nouvelle, so if you'd be up for a game with it, I'd be happy to do so. Don't worry, I won't play Endymion, I can play something else. It would probably end up being Black Wings, but still. Pretty sure you said you wanted to see my current Black Wings in action, so that would be a chance for us to do so, if you get a chance. But still, yeah. From what I just took a brief look at it, looks interesting. I'd have to see it like properly in action to like get an idea of it though. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have today. So thank you very much to Express Gaming and DarkRetrition84 for your questions. And if anyone else has any questions for me, I do these Q&As every Wednesday, UK time, morning or afternoon, depending on my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.